You have a questionnaire for candidates for public office. Is this just for federal office?
For every candidate running for federal office in 2010, we are sending out by certified mail today this questionnaire. Which, what are we asking? We're asking yay or nay. Are you for the Employee Forced Choice Act or not? We are also asking them about the specific provisions of that act, such as the right to a secret ballot, binding arbitration, all the elements of it, because we know a couple of things. One, they're going to do everything they can to get every part of that through, but if they can't get it all through, they're going to try to segment it out and get through what they think they can. So we think it's important for the citizens of New Hampshire, the voters of New Hampshire, to understand where these candidates stand on this bill, and to know that as they go into the elections in November. And we're giving every candidate the benefit of the doubt. We're not going to prejudge anyone, and we're hoping that maybe some candidates who haven't made this legislation a priority will use this as a chance to educate themselves on the bill.
All right, and one of the questions that you asked, there's actually 8 questions on this, and one of the things it says, do you support or oppose binding arbitration procedures that empower a government arbitrator to set and impose labor contracts between New Hampshire businesses and workers without input from employers and without the vote of the employees? I think we touched on this earlier.
This is part of the Employee Forced Choice Act. As unbelievable as it may sound, if you do not come to an agreement within 90 days with an organized labor force as an employer, it would be sent to a government arbitrator who will be given full power to delineate the terms of the contract, including wages, hours, your duties as an employee, pension, all the elements of a typical employee contract, without input from the employer, without a vote of the employees, and without any way to appeal the decision.
Wow, that's talking about due process there as well. Well, the one thing that a lot of the business groups have said for a very long time, and that is this could be a job killer for New Hampshire, and not just for New Hampshire businesses, but everywhere else, if this thing should become law. How would it kill jobs?
Well, let me talk about the number of jobs. A recent study came out and said that if this were enacted, it would lose 600,000 jobs. And to put that in perspective, that would be eliminating every private sector job in New Hampshire and then some. This is a significant job killer. How would people lose jobs? I run a small business. Anyone right now running a small business knows that the last few years have been terrible. We're doing everything we can to maintain our employment base, to basically stay in business and continue through the long term until we get out of this mess. If we're placed with onerous regulations and impositions from the federal government at this time, I can tell you what it means. It's going to mean either we're going to have to lay off people or we're going to not be able to hire people that we would have liked to have hired. It's just been demonstrated that this type of rules and regulations on a small business are devastating, and it would impact New Hampshire tremendously, which is why you have, again, every group that represents every segment of the economy in New Hampshire is opposing this legislation.
All right, and this is not. Just want to ask you, this is not about being anti-union, is it?
No, I'm an old Jack Kemp Republican. I believe in unions. This is about, again, it's a nonpartisan issue. There are Democrats, Republicans who oppose this. It is about the Forced Choice Act. It is about the provisions in here, and it's about it's what this issue boils down to is do we want to punish the many to bail out the few, the labor bosses who have basically misused the dues of the workers.
All right. Now, if people want more information about this issue and about the Alliance for New Hampshire Jobs, what is your website?
It's www.alliancefornhjobs.com.
Alliancefornhjobs.com.
Correct.
All right, and people should contact their legislators, their candidates, and
contact their candidates. Ask them where they stand on this issue. Ask them about the provisions. Go on the website. We have a Facebook page. We have a Twitter site. You can keep informed. Definitely ask the candidates. New Hampshire has a great tradition of voters participating in the electoral process. I know your listeners will be out there asking candidates questions. Ask them where they stand on this issue. There's some information on how to contact us if you have any specific questions on the website. We'd be happy to get you the information.
Very good. Well, Paul Young, State Director of the Alliance for New Hampshire Jobs, thank you very much for joining us here, and good luck. And I think the only reason why this thing hasn't passed already is because of the growing number, and this is evidence today, the growing number of organizations that have come out to educate the public and the candidates for office as well about the dangers of this Employee Forced Choice Act.
I think that's right, and I'd love to come back on when we get the results of our questionnaires and share that with your listeners. I think it'd be interesting.
That'll be great. When do you think you'll have all the results tabulated?
We're hoping by the end of the month.
Okay. Wow, very good. All right, Paul Young, thank you very much.
Great.
All right.